Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to another episode of the Athletics franchise here on MLB The Show 24, where today we have the trade deadline in the episode. But before we get to the trade deadline, we do have a game to get through against the 35-71 Milwaukee Brewers. It's going to be an action-packed episode again, so if you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. The A's come in 40-66. On the mound for the Brewers will be the rookie lefty Alex Clemmy, who came over last year in the big trade from Cleveland, has sent William Contreras over to the Guardians. And Zach Geloff will be on first for the A's, and he will start by drawing a walk on a low pitch, so to get the day started. Tyler Socher now at next 2-2, and he swings through a high fastball. So the first out of the ball game will be a K. Eddie in the 3 spot, and then ropes one into right field for a base hit. So 2-1 quickly here for the A's. And a good position for Brent Rooker. 1-2 pitch to Rooker, and he's well out in front of the slider. That'll bring 2 down now for Nick Allen, hitting the 5-hole today. And with a good pitch, puts it on the ground to short, usually hits those well. And the A's come up with nothing in the first. On the mound for them will be Paul Blackburn, who's not had a good start to his season. He's a potential trade candidate this episode, because this be the last time we see Blackburn on the mound for the A's. Leading off for the Brewers will be Brayan Rocchio, also a former Guardian in that same Contreras deal last year that netted Milwaukee a lot of young players. He begins by flying out to left field, where Rosario put that one away, and we'll take a look at this Milwaukee lineup, who are targeted to be sellers at the deadline. Not sure how many of these guys will still make the lineup in a couple of days. Now, Sal Frelick will be up next, followed by Luis Arraez, Kyle Manzardo, Shea Langoliers, Owen Miller, Jackson Chourio, Joey Weimer, and Aiden Miller to round it out. Sal Frelick up next gets plunked on the backside, so that'll be a free pass for him. Bringing up Luis Arraez, the 2-time batting champion, who bloops this one into center, and it will drop. And it's exactly what Arraez does throughout his career, and that's just get base hits. So 2 on now for Kyle Manzardo, who's been hitting well in his last week, but he lines this one right to Noda. And that was 2 down for the former Athletic, Shea Langoliers, who we traded at the beginning of the season. Only hitting 173 in Milwaukee, has not turned around his offensive struggles, and he ends the first year by flying out to left. We'll go deeper now, bottom 5. Paul Blackburn still on the mound. He begins this inning by striking out Aiden Miller. Brayan Rocchio 0 for 2 on the day, and he will hit this one up the middle for a base hit. So his first of the afternoon. Puts a runner on first with 1 out for Sal Frelick, the lefty, who got plunked in his first at-bat. Now he chops it over to Geloff, who will just go the short play, not even going to try the double. So now 2 outs, runner on second for Luis Arraez, and he gets plunked as well. He gets hit almost in the exact same location as as Frelick did earlier. So now 2 on for Kyle Manzardo, who ends the inning, and Blackburn goes 5 strong, 0 earned runs. Problem is, though, our offense has also not scored a run. His top 6, Brent Rooker, strikes out, as that is Alex Clemmy's 10th strikeout of the ballgame. Nick Allen 0 for 2, who's been a culprit of one of those today, grounds this one to short, where Rocchio will throw him out at first base. And now it comes down for the inning to Esteury Ruiz, hitting in the 6th spot this afternoon. And he pulls a changeup into left, but it will not drop. So scoreless is both squads. As we'll go bottom 6 now, Ryan Presley in relief, one of the prime guys to be traded this episode. I probably would feel surely this will be the last time we see him in an A's uniform. He starts by striking out Shea Langoliers on the slurve. How about Owen Miller? 1-2. He'll hit a base hit through the right side of the infield. And again, Milwaukee has another one on base. They did a good job of hitting the ball. They just haven't scored anybody. Jackson Chourio, though, will change that. Hitting it to left center. This one will drop, and this is trouble, as Miller will round third. He's going to be sent home, and finally the Brewers break the tie with an RBI double here in the 6th inning off the bat of Jackson Chourio. And that'll actually do it for Presley, who was already a little tired. So we'll bring in Mason Miller here to try to get through this inning. He'll face off against Joey Weimer, who grounds it over to third. Nice sliding stop by Wilson, and he'll get the play at first. Good defense. One more out needed in the inning. It's Aiden Miller, and he will draw a walk. So again, another free base runner. And we go to the top of the lineup, and Brayan Rocchio, who singled just last inning. Big spot for him here, 2-2, and Rocchio will swing through the slider for strike 3. But the Brewers break the tie. They get 1. We're going to the top of the 7th now. Robbie Martin at the dish. Alex Clemmy still on the mound. And Martin begins by pulling this one to left field. And it actually clears the fence. Robbie Martin goes deep. I don't know if I've ever seen Robbie Martin go deep. His 5th home run of the season. How about that? finally showing a little bit of that power that I knew was in that frame. And we're just like that. We're all tied up at 1 apiece. And just like that, that will do it for Clemmy. The Brewers will bring in Dustin May in relief, acquired before the season from the Dodgers, and a trade that sent Christian Yelich to Los Angeles. He's been a good pickup here for Milwaukee, but he plunks Noda to begin his day. 99 up high. That's got to hurt. Wilson now, he's going to actually lay down a sacrifice bunt, so A's playing a little bit of small ball will advance the runner over to second for the top of the lineup. The guys you want in this spot. Zach Geloff, first pitch to him. Slurve chops it over to short, and that's not a good out because the runner will not advance. And now it relies on the bat of Tyler Soderstrom. Gets a righty-lefty matchup this time with a 2-2. Gets good hit on a slurve into left center, but it will be tracked down. And I feel like the A's missed an opportunity there. Still tied as we go bottom 7. Miller still on the mound, and he begins by striking out Frelick on the 100-mile-an-hour gas. Luis Ariz up next gets plunked for the second time today. That's the third Milwaukee batter hit, so we got to do a better job controlling the baseball. Kyle Manzardo up next grounds this one up the middle. Good effort by Geloff, unable to get an out. 2 on now for Milwaukee. It's Shea Langoliers, the former Athletic. Chance to do some damage, and he gets plunked as well. The 4th Brewer hit, 2nd of the inning for Miller. Come on now, we got to get our act together. Well, how about Owen Miller, the Brewers? He's going to split the outfielders, and this is going to be a bases clearing, what looks to be triple, and it will be a throw out at third. But the Brewers get 3, and it's now 4-1. Jackson Chourio up next, lines this one to left center. It's got some carry, and it clears the fence. A solo home run for Jackson Chourio, and the Brewers putting up another run in this inning as there's the slide. 10th homer of the season for Jackson Chourio, and this game was just tied at 1-1 a minute ago. It is now 5-1 in favor of Milwaukee. Miller will be pulled out of the game. Zach Jackson will be trusted to get the final out of the inning, as he'll have to do it against Joey Wiemer. And with a 2-2, Wiemer will bloop this one into right field down the line. Another extra base hit here for Milwaukee as he's into second base before Rooker can get to it. He wants 3 bags, and Wiemer will get it. A 2-out triple for Joey Wiemer, his 5th of the season. That's one of the highest in the National League. And then we still can't get the final out. Aiden Miller goes up the middle for a base hit. The rookie from 2023 with an RBI. And it's a 6-1 lead now in favor of the Brewers. And then Brian Arocchio goes up the middle. Zach Jackson cannot get a single out, as he will then be removed from this game. We'll then turn it over to Joe Barlow, one of our better relievers, to just get 1 out, please. Sal Frelick up first into left field. This will not be the out. Another run looks to score, a single into left. 7-1 Brewers now. This game has gotten out of hand, and it's to Luis Ariz, one of the best hitters on the Brewers team, and he's the guy out of all people that finally gets through the inning. But it's a 6th spot in the 7th for Milwaukee. The inning that will never end, as now we go bottom 8, and the Brewers still not done. Kyle Manzardo leads off with a shot down the first base line. A leadoff double for him, as Joe Barlow now struggles on the mound. 2 outs now for Jackson Chourio, who's been the bad guy for us today, and well, he's going to get another RBI here. A single up the middle. 8-1 now in favor of the Brewers off the bat. Jackson Chourio, his 3rd RBI of the day. Joey Wiemer up next will then pop up into center, but the Brewers widen the gap even more, as it is now 8-1 in favor of Milwaukee. As we go now into the top of the 9th inning with 2 down. Jacob Wilson, though, does get a good hit into the outfield grass, as that is going to be aggressively legged out for a 2-out double, as Jacob Wilson has plenty of those this season. That is his 18th. I'm going to bring up Geloff up next with an 0-1, and he will hit this one over the glove of Kyle Manzardo. Wilson will be waved home and will score, so the A's do get 1 more back, making it 8-2. As Tyler Soderstrom now steps to the plate, the 2-time All-Star will check his swing, but he goes around, and that will do it for this one. The Brewers win 8-2 in a game that was very embarrassing for the pitching. A 6th spot in the 7th. I mean, come on, that is unacceptable, especially against a 35-71 Brewers team. Nobody could pitch the baseball. The offense could not get anything together. Only 7 hits, and the Brewers had 17. So everybody not named Paul Blackburn pitched bad today. Paul actually went 5 scoreless innings. He gave up a good bit of hits, but at least he had a 0 in the earned run category. Miller gets the loss, May the win, as the Brewers win 8-2 in Game 1 of this 3-game set. As we look to move on a little bit, and we go to try to sign Lonnie McCarthy. We can finally offer him a contract, our 6th overall pick in the draft, and we're going to offer him $7.2 million signing bonus, and he will accept. So we sign all of our draft picks. No shenanigans at the deadline. He is officially an Athletic. We lose game to 2, 6-3. A 6 earned and 3 1/3 for Sears. He's given up 12 earned runs in less than 3 innings in his last 2 starts. That's horrible. We do at least win Game 3, 5-1, as Brent Rooker went deep again. And Kim Waldichuk, of course, had a good appearance. He's been our best starting pitcher by far. But now it's time to get to the trade deadline festivities. And it's already starting. The Red Sox and Padres trade a pair of prospects. The deadline actually gets started a day early on July 30th. A lot of big deals going down, including Luis Urias to the Orioles and Willie Castro to the Yankees. So the AL East gets stronger. We just saw a rise of the Brewers. That is now done. The 2-time batting champions now with Baltimore, the leaders in the AL East, and they are building a team that could be contenders for quite some time. The big move in the get for the Brewers is the Pete Lockett prospect, 21-year-old B potential, who is the 44th best prospect in all of baseball. And then Willie Castro goes to the Yankees for a couple of prospects. New York looking to try to keep pace in the AL East. He comes over from Cincinnati. A couple of other trades. The Astros get Matt Barnes from the Angels for prospect Mitch Rio, and then Harrison Bader goes to the Phillies for Rory Rivers to KC. Barnes is going to be the closer in Houston. Despite the fact that the Astros are leading the division, they're doing it without a true closer, and they finally get it from the Angels and Matt Barnes, while Harrison Bader comes over to Philly dealing with some injuries in the outfield. If anything, he's just a short-term fix. But they do give up Rory Rivers back to the Royals to get him, an 18-year-old good solid pitching prospect who's the 36th best prospect in all of baseball. Finally, the big one of the day. Cody Bellinger is a Diamondback. The Reds cut the cord on Cody. I like what the Reds are doing. They're not afraid to cut ties with players who are disappointing. And after what's been kind of a down year for Cincinnati, Bellinger goes to Arizona. Alek Thomas, the big get for the Reds, as he heads back to Cincinnati in an interesting trade for both teams. Wilkerman Gonzalez also goes to Cincinnati, a nice pitching prospect. And that takes us to July 31st, the actual trade deadline, as we'll go through, starting off with our team. We are currently 41-68. Obviously, we are going to be sellers at the deadline. We've already made a couple of moves this year. Raisel Iglesias to the Diamondbacks, as well as Adam Frazier, we just traded a couple of days ago, also to Arizona. We have 2 guys currently on the block, Paul Blackburn and Ryan Presley. Presley is the guy that I've been saying is 100% going to get dealt. So we knew this at the beginning of the season. A 37-year-old who was signed to a 1-year contract. I knew if we were not good this year, he was going to be dealt. And we're going to go ahead and do that. The teams interested are the Reds and the Giants. And he is going to the Giants. Elliot Ramos will be the guy we get in return. Ramos is a 26-year-old outfielder for San Francisco, and the bat's just not been there. He's never hit above 200 for San Francisco. And considering we're giving up a 37-year-old player, the Giants are not really going to give us a ton back. So we'll get a player who hopefully has high upside still, just hopefully just needs a new scenery. So there's the deal. Elliot Ramos is the newest Athletic, and Ryan Presley heads to San Francisco in the Bay Area for the second straight season. Gets traded to an NL West squad at the deadline. Now, with acquiring of Ramos, let me be thinking, do we trade Eddie Rosario? I said no, but we did just get Ramos. So I wanted to see what was out there for Eddie, and I didn't really like the offers that we were getting, so he will stay with the Athletics. And then there's Paul Blackburn, who has just been a disappointment this year. There's some teams interested, but the trades were just not what I liked. And considering he is under contract next year, and he's having by far his worst season, I did figure his stock would be the lowest. So Paul Blackburn will be staying with the Athletics, and we'll come back to this conversation next year. So we make 3 trades this season. There's the 2, and then we made the 1 today. Well, what about the rest of the league? It was a busy July 30th. How about July 31st? We're going to go through all of the trades right now. Starting off with the Cardinals. They have Mason Wynn, a young shortstop prospect for them who has been okay, but might just need a fresh start. And the Cardinals are going to trade him to the Miami Marlins for Braxton Garrett and Victor Mesa Jr. The Cardinals want to contend for the NL Central right now, and they believe this is a move that they did to do that. Win goes to the Marlins, a big get for the Fish, while the Cardinals look to shore up their pitching staff by getting Braxton Garrett and then a young outfielder in Victor Mesa Jr. in return. Now the Cardinals are not done. They stay in division this time. Brandon Williamson of the Reds is the guy they've shopped around, and I like what the Reds have done this deadline. However, this one's a little bit of a head-scratcher for me. They're trading him in division to St. Louis for Andrew Chafin. I think the Cardinals definitely fleeced the Reds here, but, I mean, who am I to judge other teams? So Brandon Williamson goes to the Cardinals, adds another guy for the rotation, while the Reds, I guess, just free up a roster spot for Andrew Chafin. So that'll do it for a lot of the contending team trades. A lot of the other trades deal with teams that are just rebuilding at the deadline. We're going to start off with the Colorado Rockies, who are the worst team in all of baseball. They sit 31-79. The problem with Colorado is they don't really have anybody to trade. The only player they're going to move is Gavin Sheets, a right fielder who is a free agent at the end of the season. He is going to go to the Pittsburgh Pirates for third baseman Logan Wagner. Is Pittsburgh having a quietly good season, surprisingly, and they want to capitalize, so they get some outfield help in Gavin Sheets, while the Rockies get a third base prospect in Logan Wagner next. That's the only move that Colorado does. The next team is the Washington Nationals. They've been at the bottom of the NL East for quite some time, and they're ready to just try to turn the corner, currently sitting at 40-69. The first player they're going to move is Taylor Trammell. He's going to be traded also to St. Louis. So the Cardinals being very busy today for a pair of players. So Taylor Trammell now goes to St. Louis to help in their outfield list, dealing with some injuries. Reed Shaler goes back to the Nationals. He's kind of the throwaway. The main guy in this trade is Terry Santana, the 18-year-old second baseman for Dominican Republic, who's actually a top prospect. I think the Nationals did a good job at getting value back for Trammell. He's a 71st best prospect in baseball. Now, the bigger trade, though, for the Nationals, they're going to trade Stone Garrett away. Their best player is going to the Dodgers. So the Dodgers, of course, you knew they weren't going to keep quiet. They get some more help in the outfield in the form of Stone Garrett to hit in those clutch situations. They send back Jonathan Loaisiga, who's a good get for the Nationals. He was an all-star this year, and he's under contract next season, so the Nationals could flip him again next year. Then they also get Jose Ramos, a center field prospect. So I think a good trading for the Nationals. Now, the last team that's going to make moves is the Detroit Tigers. They sit 42-66, and they made some waves. Let me tell you, they made 4 trades in total. Starting off with Zach McKinstry. He's also going to Pittsburgh, so the Pirates not done beefing up their outfield to get Gavin Sheets from Colorado, and then get Zach McKinstry from the Detroit Tigers. They're going to send Cody Heyer back, a guy who's pitched a little bit in the majors to kind of be some bullpen depth, but the key guy here is Edgar Cairo, the B potential 22-year-old catcher. Now, they're also going to move Casey Mize, a big name here, but he's just never really worked out in Detroit. He's going to the Chicago Cubs, so Mize gets a fresh start with a contender in the NL Central, as the Cubs also try to get aggressive. They send Jonathan Clase back, as well as a right fielder in Alexander Canario, so the Tigers get a good, solid couple of outfield prospects. But the last two are big. Riley Green is on the move. The Tigers are trading away one of their star center fielders at only 25 years old to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they're getting Jordan Lawler and Ryan Nelson back. A blockbuster deal. Riley Green goes to the Diamondbacks. They saw the Dodgers make a couple of trades, and the Arizona Diamondbacks want to keep afloat. Now, they're going to send Jordan Lawler back, a good, solid young player, back to Detroit, as well as Ryan Nelson. But the key thing here is Riley Green actually will not play this year. If you notice, he's out with a torn Achilles tendon, so he won't join the Diamondbacks until next year, and maybe that's why the Detroit Tigers traded him. They thought maybe he wouldn't come back to his old self. Now, the last guy on the Tigers that we've talked about for a little bit is Tariq Skubal. Last year, there was rumors he might get traded. Will the Tigers pull the trigger this year? The All-Star for the first time having a sensational season. And they do. Tariq Skubal is heading to St. Louis. The Cardinals made the ultimate move to beef up their rotation, acquiring Tariq Skubal from the Detroit Tigers. Now, he is a free agent at the end of the season, so it'll be interesting to see if this is a short-term rental or a long-term piece. In turn, they're going to send Tommy Edman back to the Tigers, who has a couple of years under contract. Nathan Church, a solid left fielder as well, who could be a future piece for them in the outfield. And Dominic Smith, who made the All-Star team this year, all go back to the Tigers. capping off what was a pretty blockbuster deal to close the deadline. And that'll do it for this season's deadline. We get one guy today, Elliot Ramos from the San Francisco Giants, to help with some outfield depth and get a piece for a reliever. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of all the other trades? Now we'll head back home for the Toronto Blue Jays, who were surprisingly quiet. Blue Jays are one of the worst teams in the American League. After winning the AL East last year, they sit 39-69, while the Athletics are 41-68. Surprisingly, the Blue Jays were not more aggressive at the deadline. I thought they would be, but nonetheless, here we are in Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, California, for a set against the team from Canada. So we'll see how they do. As you can see, everybody in the dugout ready. As we'll take a look at the A's dugout. Brent Rooker giving a very creepy look on the right side. Hey, Britt, how you doing? On the mound for the A's will be Robbie Francisco. His ERA is down to a 5.08. It's not been a good second season for him, but at least he's getting the ERA down, so he is doing better. Starting off will be the All-Star this year, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, named for his first time, as he'll hit this one into right field, where it will be caught for Brent Rooker. And we'll take a look at this Blue Jays lineup. That's definitely changed a lot since the past season. We'll see Kiersey Jr. up next, followed by Alejandro Kirk, Dalton Varsho, Spencer Horwitz at first, Edmundo Sosa at third, Aurelvis Martinez at DH, Addison Barger at short, and then George Springer at right. Obviously, both we losing Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to the Reds in the offseason. It's really hurt this team. But the next batter, Deshaun Kyrzie, the rookie, will hit this one into left field, and that's going to be a one-out double for Toronto, as Kyrzie, the rookie, has his 24th of the season. Alejandro Kirk, one of the guys who was surprised to not get dealt at the deadline. He strikes out on a low fastball. So 2 down now for Dalton Varsho, who hits this one into left. Rosario over, and he will not get there in time. So that will be the first run of the day for Toronto. An RBI double for Dalton Varsho, as the left fielder will slide into second base. His 21st double of the season. Spencer Horwitz up next, hits this one to center, where it will be caught by Ruiz, but that'll do it for the first. Blue Jays do plate one for their lefty, Yusei Kikuchi, getting the start today, making his 22nd of the season with a 4.46 ERA. Zach Geloff leads off for the A's in the 1-2, and he can't catch up on the fastball. That'll be strike 3. Next batter up, Tyler Soderstrom, now in this second spot. He also looks at strike 3. Fastball low gets him. So back-to-back Ks will bring up Ryan Noda hitting the 3-hole today, and he launches this one to right. If it stays fair, it's gone, and it is. A solo home run for Ryan Noda. And the A's have retied this one up at 1 apiece. I need to see more of Noda in the second half of the season. He should be one of our best offensive weapons, in my opinion. He's having a struggling season, but he does hit his 10th home run of the year here. And we're tied up at 1. That'll bring up Brent Rooker in the 4th spot, 1-2. He swings and misses. We're all knotted up at 1 apiece. Going to the bottom of the 3rd, here's Elliot Ramos' first at-bat as an A, getting the start today. And, well, he'll go down on 3 pitches, looking on a fastball down and in. Bottom 3 down with 1 down for Jacob Wilson, who hits this one well to left field. And this one's back, and it's going to be caught. So now 2 down in the inning. We'll bring up Zach Geloff in the top of the order with a 1-2, and he'll swing in at the low changeup. That ends the 3rd. Going to the top of the 7th now. Both pitchers after that first inning really catching fire here. Here's Francisco striking out Martinez, his 5th K of the day. Going to bring up Addison Barger, who's done a lot better against Rise this season, hitting 223 with 11 homers and 23 RBIs from this side of the plate. And with a 1-0, he hits this one to right field, where it will be caught by Brent Rooker for the second out. Going to bring up the 9-hole hitter George Springer with a full count pitch. He looks at ball 4. That should have been strike 3. Clearly in the zone. Unfortunately, it's a walk instead, and that'll bring up the All-Star Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with the inning still alive. And the first pitch to him, he hits it into right field, and this one will bloop for a base hit. Springer on his horse to 3rd, and this inning stays alive. Runners on the corners now. Big spot for the rookie, and they're trying a suicide squeeze, and they don't get it. Interesting call there. Ends the inning. Nobody scores. As then we'll go into the next inning. J.P. Fire-Ison, the former Diamondback acquired last week for Adam Frazier, steps to the mound. He gets the top of the 8th, and Dalton Kiersey first, who draws a walk, finally finishing that at-bat. Going to bring up Alejandro Kirk up next, who's 1 for 3 on the day, doubled back in the 3rd, and that's been his only offense thus far. The 1-2 pitch to the catcher, and he gets plunked on the back, so not a good start for Fire-Ison. 2 quickly on here for Toronto. We'll bring up Dalton Varsho, but Rafael Lantigua will step in. He'll pinch run for Kirk, get some more speed on the base pass. 3-1 to Varsho now, and he's going to rip this one into the gap, and this tie is going to be over. This one splits the outfielders. One hops off the wall, and that is going to plate 2. It's a 2 RBI triple for Varsho. 3-1 now in favor of the Blue Jays. Not how Fire Racing saw this day going. And then Horowitz up next with the 0-2 does strike out on the fastball out and away. So we get 1 out in the inning. Sosa now up next, and he will hit the runner home. An RBI single into center for the former Baltimore Oriole. And it's 4-0 now. Blue Jays leading by 3. And that'll do it for Fire Racing. Ryan Thompson, ironically, another Diamondback, will step in, trying to finish this disaster of an 8th inning. First batter he sees is Martinez, and he'll get 1 pitch this inning, and he'll get 2 outs. A 6-4-3 double play. But now with a 3-run lead for the Blue Jays, they're going to bring in Chad Green to try to set up the 9th inning for Jordan Romano. Hasn't been the best season for Green, but he's got a 3-run cushion here, and Michael Turner will grace the catcher position for the Blue Jays. First batter is Elliot Ramos, who's hitless on the day, and he looks at strike 3 right down the middle. Not sure what Ramos was waiting on there. So he'll sit down and now bring up Jacob Wilson. We got a single back in the 6th inning. 2-2 pitch to him, hanging curveball, and he's going to hit it in the right field, and it will get down. Drops for a single. He'll take first base for the top of the order. Geloff also hitless on the day, and he waits on a curveball as well, and he'll split the gap as well. This one into left center. Wilson will round third, be sent home. It's going to be an RBI double for Geloff. 4-2 now in favor of the Blue Jays as the Athletics start cutting into this lead. How about Tyler Soderstrom? Full counts, draws a walk. He gets the call. So now 2 on, 1 away. And they'll switch pitchers to Zach Pop. Green will be pulled. And in comes Noda, who's already homered once today. Another good spot here. He's 3 for 3. Gets a high slider into left center, but this one will hang just up in the air too much. Geloff will look to tag to third, though, and he will make it safely. So now runners on the corners. And a big spot for the 4-hole hitter in Brent Rooker. 1-2 pitch to Brent. And he will swing at a slider outside the zone, and he'll sit down. 8th inning ends, we get 1, but could have got more, and we'll go to the 9th where Joe Romano will look to shut the door for Toronto and take home the W. Robbie Martin now up first. Got a hit today. He's not going to get one here. Grounds a fastball over to third. Easy out number 1. How about Esteury Ruiz? First pitch. Fastball up. Tries to put it into right center, and this one will drop. So the speediest guy on the team is on first base, and the tying run is at the plate. With 1 down, it will be Daniel Susac getting started DH today, but he swings through a low slider. And now the game comes down to Elliot Ramos, the newest A, hitless thus far. 1-1 to Ramos. He gets underneath the fastball, flies this one to left, and this should do it, as it will be caught by Varsho, and the Blue Jays will win this one by a final score of 4-2 as the Toronto get it done late in the game. JP Fire Racing, not a good first look for him after being acquired by a trade close to the trade deadline. He gives up the go-ahead runs, and Toronto closes it down. 4 runs and 8 hits for them. We had 2 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. Kikuchi gets a nice win for the Blue Jays, and Romano gets his 24th save of the season. As player of the game will go to Dalton Varsho, 2 for 4 with a triple and a double, and we drop the game 1 against the Toronto Blue Jays here at home. Now, we unfortunately get some bad news in the minors. Charlie Rose's season is done. I usually don't highlight double-A injuries, but that's unfortunate. And there was one more trade. The Mariners and Pirates trade some prospects at the deadline, but other than that, it is done and dusted. And we do win Game 2 against the Blue Jays, 4-1. Robbie Martin goes deep. He goes 3 for 4. I like to see the power starting to come around for him. And Micah Bell went 6 innings pitched, gave up 0 earned, and struck out 8. And we also win Game 3, so we take the series against Toronto 3-1. Paul Blackburn, 7 innings pitched, only 1 earned, given up for him. And JP Fire Racing had a nice bounce-back day, striking out 3 in 1 inning. Next episode, we'll get into the month of August. 3 games at home against Seattle before hitting to Camden Yards for a 3-game set against the Baltimore Orioles. As that will conclude today's trade deadline episode. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the trades, not only of the Athletics, but for around the league. The National League, especially the NL Central, got so much stronger. It'll be fun to watch how that unfolds. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.